Hello and welcome back to my Flosstube channel. My name's Lizzie. This is, as I said, a Flosstube channel, so I generally talk about cross stitch. I film early in the morning before work. It's not that early today, it's 7. It is the 14th of March, Tuesday the 14th of March, and yes, I film early in the morning before I go to work because otherwise it won't get done. And I think seeing me decaffeinated is probably preference to seeing me tired. Yes, so shall we start? It's been 2 weeks. I haven't stitched masses in that 2 weeks because I started my new job. And not that I haven't had time to stitch, because there's been plenty of time in the evenings and stuff. It's just been a very, very tiring couple of weeks. Adjusting to new routines, adjusting to learning how to do things, interacting with new people, getting up and walking the dogs earlier. They're quietly asleep on the sofa, so hopefully they'll stay that way until the end. I don't think this will be a very long video today, because like I say, I haven't done masses of stitching. I've literally, some days I've been in bed asleep before 8 o'clock in the evening. Last night I think I went to bed at 9, just so that I can function during the day. Okay, I think I need to drink more water. Here's your public service announcement. Drink more water, it stops you feeling quite so tired. I'm going to try and do that today because, well, I need to do something. Okay, what have I stitched on since I saw you last? I've not been so good at keeping up to date with my tracking because this is my stitching chair, but my husband's had a really bad back and it's a really nice upright chair, and so he's been using it. But all my stitching stuff is here, all my note cards are here, so I've just been grabbing stuff and going and stitching somewhere else, which hasn't been ideal for my back, but what can you do, hey? So let's start with a work in progress that you've seen before, obviously because it's a work in progress, a whip work in progress, and it's my Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along 2023 piece, and for the record I'm keeping it as it is. It's got very little edge here because of the way the fabric was cut. I didn't realise, and also I started too close to this edge compared to this edge, but I'm keeping it. I've got some bias binding. Hopefully I'll get my sewing machine out eventually and put that on. So here's where I'm at now. But Lizzie, you say you've only done one side. I have, because I needed to make sure that this line across the middle fitted, because I've made a mistake in the top and I couldn't go from the centre point at the top, or the centre motif at the top, because it wasn't in the centre. So I had to stitch down, count across. Oh, I found some, I was counting. There's 18 stitches between the edge and this line. It's like a shelf. It's this shelf here, the longer one. It's 18 stitches between the edges. And counting that on linen is really quite hard. So I did it a couple of times, got different results. And I thought, well, why didn't just stitch it? So I just used some regular sewing thread. Was it going to focus? No, sorry. Just some regular sewing thread and stitched 18 half stitches. And then I started my border. And then I stitched the other 18 half stitches on this side. And then I went up to the top and came down here and they met up. So that's really exciting. And this has been great to work on in my lunch breaks, which is ridiculous because it's such a big piece. But I think because of the style of it, the stitching, I can, I'm literally taking it in, and for the next few lunch breaks I know that I need to run that purple down, I need to do a purple edge like I have over there, so I'm just stitching the purple, which reminds me I need to put some more purple in my bag. Or I can take my tablet in and pattern keeper it to do the pink internals. So I'm really happy with my progress on that. It lives in this little teeny tiny bag for such a big project. Just squidge it in there. And that goes in my rucksack for work. If I don't forget it, so I'm just going to pop it there. Sorry if the camera wheels. There we go. So that's been the last couple of days stitching. Before that, I worked on this piece, which is in this teeny tiny bag. Again, for another massive project. It's a teeny tiny bag. Now, this is Walkways in Monochrome by Stitching Jules Designs. Sorry, I forgot to tell you. The Modern Folk Embroidery sale is on 32 count heirloom by Pole Stitches fabric, and I'm doing it 2/2 in DMC. The pink, I think, is 754, and I'm not quite sure what the purple is at the moment. I had to refresh the pink on my Flosstobe, so I don't know what the purple is. Now then, this next piece is Walkways in Monochrome by Stitching Jules Designs. I've done more than 80 stitches that I showed you last time I showed you this piece. And that's what it's going to look like cloisters of a cathedral or an old college. It reminds me very much of a memory I have of sort of like my surrogate grandfather, who was a choir master, and we went to sing in Peterborough Cathedral, I think, has some cloisters like this. That's what it reminds me of. Happy days singing with him. So for the big reveal, don't get too excited. It's more than 80 stitches, but it's not massively more. Well, it is. It's 3 times that. I've done 348 of the teeny tiny stitches. Now, this is just on antique white 32 count Zweigart, and I'm using crème brulee thread by Roxy Floss Co. And I'm doing it 1/1 on 32 count, and I love it. I don't think you can see the variation. Can you see the variation there? I hope so, because it's really pretty. But stitching 1/1 on 32 count does take time. It takes forever. So, you know, it's hard. So because making Flosstube videos, it's so, do I stitch on what I love? Yes, I do. But if I just stitched on things like this, then I'd have nothing to show you really, because it takes so long to get anywhere. So I did an evening, 2 evenings maybe on that. And like I say, I haven't been stitching much at all really, because I've been too tired. But yeah, that's 348 stitches done. So that's much better, isn't it, than 42. Now then, more progress, but not as much as I would like, on not Sunflower Cottage. Oh, wouldn't that be fab? Snowdrop Cottage, which is going to look like this in the February issue of Cross Stitching magazine. It's by Little Dove Designs. I did her Christmas one, which was a Sal. I'm not doing her current Sal because I've got too much on my plate. But this is where we're at. No matter how long the winter, spring is sure to follow. So I got that pink band done since you last saw it underneath the brown, and I've come down the sides, and I'm just starting to go across with the white, because I'm a white first stitcher, and that straight across seems so much easier than anything else. So there's that. I love it. I've got a frame in mind already. It's just an IKEA frame, but it's very pretty. It will look nice, like, you know, one of their cheap frames. They do them in all sorts of colours. That's what I've got in mind for that. And then I think the only other thing I've worked on is a new something. I'm just looking around at the detritus of my sewing area. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the only other thing I've worked on is a new finish. Now let me just pause you saying, because I want to get it out of its packet that I've put back into. While I was up, I picked up my shopping as well, so I can show you that. So this does need ironing and it does need framing. I've just got a simple white frame to put it in, and I'll probably have gifted it before the next, I hope I will have, for the next video. So I probably should have framed it last night, but I was too tired. So this is Bothy Threads, Welcome to the World, Welcome Little Sausage, which I've stitched for my friend who has 2 dachshunds and a brand new baby boy. However, we don't know that little baby boy is going to be a blue baby, and we shouldn't, I don't think, continue blue for boys, pink for girls. They should be allowed to choose whichever colour they like. I liked yellow, so I've turned him into a little yellow sausage dog, and I love him, and I hope she loves him too, and I hope baby loves him too when he grows older. It was a good kit to stitch. Somehow I love the look of Bothy Threads, but I don't enjoy stitching them. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they're only on paper. Oh, he's falling. Don't fall, little dog. But look at his cuteness. His face looked funny, even with the back stitch, until I got those French knots for the eyes in. And I finished him on the, well, as they were, literally put the last few stitches in, as the winner of Crufts was taking his place, sort of on the podium, as it were. So yeah, he's been a good fun stitch over the last couple of weekends. And I think the reason I finished him was because my husband said, are you going to finish it for his 1st birthday or his 18th birthday? And I was like, no, I'm going to finish it before any of his birthdays. So now I can just nip that over to her, which is lovely. So that is all my stitching, I think. I literally don't think I've stitched on anything else. Not masses, I'm afraid. 12 minutes in and we're done. But don't panic. I've got some shopping to show you. So I was watching Stitch Bunny on YouTube, and she has a shop called at Stitch Bunny Shop. It's Stitch Bunny Shop, stitchbunny.co.uk, and her Instagram is at Stitch Bunny Shop. I could show you her card, bear with me. And she sells hand-dyed fabric. Is that focused? My eyesight's so rubbish I can't tell whether it's in focus or not. I ordered 3 pieces of 14 count Ada, because that really is my preference to stitch on. Now I don't know what base she uses. I don't think it's a Zweigart base, but that's fine. Let's unwrap them and I'll show you them. They're quite big pieces. So here's the first one, which is called Golden Sands. That's really lovely, isn't it? I haven't thought about what I'm going to use them for yet. I keep having ideas when I'm driving and then forgetting by the time I get home, which is the story of my life, by the way. This piece, all wrapped up in tissue paper, they're beautiful, is called Fall Fun, so I suppose it's like an autumnal colours maybe. That's showing true. Let me put the board behind it, and you've got the light coming through. Nice, isn't it? And then this tissue paper. The tissue paper is such a pretty colour as well. Now I've shown these, I can put them away so my husband stops talking about all my purchases. Look at this. Look at this. This is mocha. And I think these were just testing pieces, like testing dyeing on Ada or something, because they've all got test piece written on them. This one was because it's got a couple of spots, but I quite like the spots. I need a bigger board, don't I, or to hold them to the window maybe. Lovely. And I had a thought for this one. I was thinking for this one, oh, tissue paper. I can on the floor. The fabric comes, but the tissue paper can. Oh, they just look lovely folded up next to each other. Look. Oh. You could just eat them. I was thinking for this one, I could maybe do. It's a bit darker than the fabric in it, but so I purchased a few things from Patchwork Rabbit from Nashville Market. And this one is Floral Etchings by Heart in Hand. What do we think on this? I think that'll look quite nice. And that's what I thought when not when I saw this, because this came before Market things, but I think they'll go really nicely together. So I might leave that in there, and then we're good to go. Fabric, just need to get the threads. I don't think there's very many threads. Bear with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different colours. And I'll be doing it in DMC. I will be doing it in hold me to that, otherwise I'll go mad and I'll buy the pretty threads. I'm supposed to be stopping spending. In fact, I'm supposed to be stopping spending on my birthday, because that's what I told my daughter, and she will hold me to it. She said to me on Sunday, she said to me, so that whole, what did she say? She said, she doesn't call it Stitch from Stash, she says Stitch from Stock or something like that. It's really cute. Stitch from Supplies. How's that going, Mama? And I was like, should you think we should give that another go? Stop it, you're so mean to me. Here is my next Nashville purchase, which is Trees of Kogut Nature. And I love the folksiness of this. And do you know what made me pick this? What made me pick this was the still unframed Patrice from, well, it's not called Patrice, it's called The Uniqueness of Others from Yasmin's Made with Love. I enjoyed stitching that so much that I thought these are quite similar in style. This is obviously much bigger, probably take me a lot longer, especially if I don't start it anytime soon. And that's a lot of green, but I think I might get the fancy thread for the green for the grass so that it isn't just one solid colour, but the rest I could probably do in DMC. Oh, the rest is in DMC pretty much. So that's brilliant. Aren't they cute? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then my final one, which I just had to get. Are you ready for how cute this is going to be? Major cuteness. Oh, still in its packet. There's going to be glare. Let's deal with that. Ooh. This can go in my pile of cute things that I want to stitch but probably will never, because I have more supply than I stash that yeah, you know what I mean. I've got too much. Look, the blue flower, Rabbit Parade, and look, all the animals have got bunny ears. Aren't they just the cutest? I mean, I could stitch some maybe as standalone things. Is this an actual bunny? I can't even see what my finger's pointing. Because this one's got brown around its bunny ears and everybody else hasn't. So I think that's an actual bunny. Yeah, there's no words. I love it. Even the little bumblebee has got bunny ears. How magic's that? I have another piece, a Madame Chantilly piece, which is a cat with bunny ears that I want to stitch for my daughter, my other daughter. And I even bought the posh threads for it, but I haven't started it yet because that's me. And I'm happy with that. I think that's it. I honestly don't think I've stitched on anything else. So what are my plans for the week or 2 weeks it's going to be till I see you next? Frame and gift the Bothy Threads little Dachshund thing, can't remember what that was called. More work on modern folk embroidery in my lunch breaks, and I do it sort of first thing in the morning and in my lunch breaks, so you know it gets a good half hour a day. Mondays and Tuesdays. Thereafter I have half-hour lunch breaks, so it might not get as long, might just get a quarter of an hour, but that's better than nothing. A few stitches each time is better than nothing. I'll probably do a bit more walkways and monochrome. I'd like to get to Old Oak. Oh, he's not called Old Oak King, he's called Oak King, by Anne Stokes, my full coverage. I'd like to get to that this weekend. However, this weekend my sister and I and my younger daughter are going to the Hobbycraft exhibition, not Hobbycraft the shop, like Hobbycrafts and stitching exhibition at the NEC, which I'm super excited for. We used to go every year because it's always around my birthday time. We used to go every year, and my sister would drive as my birthday present. And then we stopped because I think we stopped a year before COVID happened. Then of course it was COVID, so it's been about 4 years now that we haven't been, because it's literally just up the road, the NEC from here. And my husband's going to give me some money to spend. My mother, is going to hopefully give me a little bit of money to spend because my birthday's coming up. And then after that show, I think that's going to be it for my spending. So what I need to do before then, is get these threads. So at least I've got them kitted up if I wanted to start them. Whereas if I don't, then I can't start them if I'm not spending any money. I mean, this one, I could pick from stash, couldn't I? I could stitch from stash. Because as long as the colours go together nicely. I mean, they don't even need to be those colours. As long as they go together nicely and go with the fabric nicely, then that's not a problem, is it? I don't think Mrs. Heart in Hand, Cecilia somebody, I can't read it, it was in Cecilia Turner, I don't think she'd mind people switching colours out. And the same goes with this, but I'll probably just stick to those because I really like them. And these I think I need to stick to. Anyway, what I'm saying is I need to do an order maybe this tonight to make sure that's done so that I can at least stitch them when my shopping embargo happens. I think it's necessary though because I have been a bit mad recently. Coffee Fabrics, is it? Has a fabric drop every so many Sundays on Facebook, and I was told by my good friend Fiona about it, and I wish it was something I could unknow because I spent a huge amount of money on the last one. I mean, it hasn't arrived, otherwise I'd show you everything I bought with a bit of a embarrassed face. Sorry, I was checking the time because I realised I got to go to work, because I did go insane, I think, and the bill was huge, but the fabric's going to be amazing. Fiona says it's so lovely to stitch on, so I'm looking forward to that. And then I did order a massive piece of 14 count so that I could do something like a modern folk embroidery or a long dog or something massive. I mean, I don't think it's going to be bedsheet size, so it's not going to be like pandemic or anything size, like the long dog pandemic, which is okay because I've got that started in here anyway. But maybe I could do an ink circles on it or something like that. That's my plan. It's just a neutral, I think. But yeah, there we are. That's my stitching for the last 2 weeks. It's only taken 25 minutes. And a lot of that's been me waffling at the end. I really don't have much to talk about. I like stitching. Anyhow, the new job's going great. I think. I haven't had any complaints. No, it is going well. I've settled in well, I think. I just need to get to the gym a bit more. Did I tell you I started going to the gym? It's painful. Hurts. Not the doing it, that doesn't hurt. It makes my lungs hurt a bit, but that's because I'm unfit. It's just the getting up and going. That hurts. Ugh. Anyhow, I'm waffling because I haven't had enough coffee. Mind you, when I've had coffee, I'm just as bad, just quicker. Have a lovely week or 2 weeks. I hope you get lots of lovely stitch time in. I really hope to. I hope that this tiredness and new job effect fades quickly so that I can get on with all my stitching plans. So I want finishes. I need to pull out Whip Go. Maybe I'll talk about Whip Go next time we meet. I'm going to let you go because this is just some random waffle and no stitching talk. So farewell, people. See you in a couple of weeks. Bye bye.